Hey guys, today I'm doing this video to show you some plants that I'm putting in. These are a native plant, but they're a hybrid variety of a native plant, so I'm not sure if they're really native. Anyhow, when we leveled out our yard and got rid of all the weeds and everything, it was just full of blackberries and digitalis, which aren't weeds, but they were because we didn't want them there. Anyhow, we saved one plant on the edge, well two if you include the cedar tree, but this plant was what we saved. That is an evergreen huckleberry. I'll put the scientific name at the bottom. It's Vaccinium something. Vaccinium. I remember some Latin from high school. But it's an evergreen huckleberry. And the reason we saved it is because it gets these little blue berries on it, and they are delish. They don't all ripen at once, so you can't really get a large crop off this one plant. But they are tasty. They're so tasty. And we wanted more of these. And I had read that that digging the ones out that you find and growing wild, transplanting them doesn't work very well. They almost always die. So I've been on the lookout for evergreen huckleberries that were already in pots. God, they're good. And I found some. So we saved this one. We bought 6 more, and I'm in the process of planting them. We're gonna have just a row of evergreen huckleberries. Since this one is doing so well in this area, I decided to just keep it going and put them all right next to them. The kitty cat's trying to get some berries. Stop it, kitty. Now, when we brought this soil in, we didn't buy the filtered stuff. We just topped it with the filtered stuff, the screened stuff. So the soil underneath what you see is full of rocks. So I'm digging the holes, and I mean, it's half soil, half rock, and I'm not exaggerating. Let me show you. All that along the fence is what I'm pulling out of the holes. I'm just putting it along the fence so that it doesn't get in the way of the mower. And it kind of fortifies that part of the fence a little bit more. There's my hole. Pulled most of the large rocks out. And there's 3 that I've already done. I still have these 3 to do. I'm not putting that soil back in the hole just because it has so much rock in it. Instead, I made soil to fill the holes with, and it's here. It is about half compost from my compost and half topsoil from a pile we have left over from adding all this soil in. So hopefully it works. I'm also adding a little of this in the holes when I fill them back up. It's just an acid-loving fertilizer. It's not organic or anything, but hopefully it'll work for them. And it's such a small amount, I don't think it's gonna mess with us. Here we go. So I've already dug my hole here. Here is the plant. It is Vaccinium ovatum, or Vaccinum ovatum, scarlet ovation variety of evergreen huckleberry. I got these from Deer Creek Nursery in Shelton. They were only 11 bucks a piece. They don't look too root bound or anything, not too bad. So I'm not really breaking them up much when I put them in here. Just dropping them right in. All right, now I need to add my good soil. Look at that. This compost is full of kitchen scraps, weeds, plants, vegetable plants from last year, lots of coffee grounds, eggshells, just pretty much anything that came from my kitchen that was organic went into the compost. We also use a lot of grass clippings too, and it just makes gorgeous soil. All right, I think that hole is pretty well filled. I'll put on my gloves so my fingers don't get any more dirty than they already are. Smush it in. You want to plant things at the same height that they were in their pots, unless told otherwise. And I was not told otherwise with these. There's not a whole lot of information about transplanting these suckers because it's just not something that's done a lot. It's hard to find these plants because they do grow wild. The lady at Deer Creek was like, some people ask me why I even have those, since they just grow wild in people's yards. Well, some people are only allowed to plant native plants, and these are excellent shrubs if that's your situation. They get really pretty in the fall. They kind of have a red flare to them in the fall. And in the spring, they have little bitty flowers on them that the pollinators love. And in the summer, you get berries. Awesome little compact plants. You can prune them. The only downside is they're very slow growers. Very slow growers. So if you ever do find some in the wild that you're wanting to pick, don't cut off the limbs. Don't cut them off for the berries. Pick the berries. When you cut off the limb, that's cutting off years and years of growth. It takes them a long time to grow those limbs. That's really the only downside to these. They're drought tolerant. They're pretty. They make fruit for yourself or for birds. Birds love them. If you're not interested, plant them for the birds. And yeah, so easy. I'm gonna get the rest of these done. Plant some evergreen huckleberry. They're like mini blueberries. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And there you have it. Now have 6 more. That one got a little far out, but that's okay. I never do straight lines. Whoops. That one got a little far out of hand, but that's okay. Now have 6 new evergreen huckleberries. Planting them today, August 18th, I think. So they can get good and settled in. And hopefully in the spring, they'll have little bitty flowers on them. In a few years, they'll look like the last one, that big sucker. So these are supposed to stay a bit more tidy than the normal native ones, but there they are. Scarlet Ovation evergreen huckleberries. All in. Ooh, huckleberries. Can't wait.